Good morning. Seoul traditions and culture on the third day of the extended holidays. Discover the master artisans behind the intangible cultural properties of Korea. Getting around by cab is becoming even more convenient with several new measures in place to improve services. A trip through the road less traveled, but perfect if you're looking for that traditional touch with a warm personal spirit. On Korea Today, Friday, February 20th, 2015.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And good morning. Welcome to Korea Today on a Friday morning, the day after the Lunar New Year's Day.
That's right. So technically, according to the lunar calendar, it's the beginning of a new year. So it's like getting a second chance. People who failed on their New Year's resolutions can start all over again. So how did you guys spend the New Year's Day yesterday?
Failing my resolutions.
Once again.
Well, being a bachelor and being by myself, living on my own, I guess I got a lot of convenience store 도시락 food. I'm used to it. It's on
You
my
should have come
fifth.
over to our house.
Well, I wasn't
There's
invited,
plenty of
guys.
Exactly. You have 3 homes that you can visit, all right? Next time, right?
Next time.
Always the next time.
Okay, you know what I did? Basically, I did what I used to love doing when I was younger, but don't like doing now, which is doing the whole sebe and the sebeton.
Because now you
Nowadays,
have to give.
I get no income. I just give. Expenditures all day long. But
That's
it's
what-
all in the name of love, right?
And you're a grown-up man now,
Yeah.
so.
So I shouldn't be complaining about this right now.
All right, well, to start us off on this Friday morning, we do have a collection of videos related to Seollal to share with you.
And our Kim Sang-yeon is standing by. Over to you, Sang-yeon.
Good morning, guys.
morning.
Are you enjoying
Hi.
your vacation so far? So we do have a set of videos here. What do you think about first when you think of Seollal?
설날 세배.
Yes, that's right. So sebaes. So this one, we'll take a look. So you've all done this yesterday too, right? Everyone in the families gathered to bow to the mother. Some of the grown kids have prepared some gifts as well. Now they're offering money to their parents. The parents gave the kids sebe money in the past, but now it's the other way around. And here little kids are practicing their sebe this day before Seollal. Oops.
천천히 앉아보세요.
Not all kids are actually cooperative. And the dad's here busy practicing his swing, but the son's in such a hurry to bow, he slides down the stairs. Now, what's the fire here? You can see that he's in such a hurry. That's a quick sebe. Now, everyone's calmly practicing their sebe here, the 2 kids. And in the end, following mom's orders, everyone puts their hands together neatly. So this is a video of the Korean military men of the Army and the Air Force offering their New Year's greetings. I'm sure these soldiers wish that they were at home with their family and relatives. But let's watch these strong men and their special sebaes that they have here. And it starts with just the regular sebe. But then, what's coming next? See the characters. Check out the tank's sebe here. A splendid spin and then a bow. Now, isn't it amazing how the soldiers and the tanks are so perfectly in sync? And here's an air show. And then a sebe there before coolly turning away. And even their sebaes here are very disciplined. I think 2015 will be an energetic year thanks to the powerful sebaes from the Air Force. Now, the holiday stress sometimes results in emotional and physical symptoms, and that we call the holiday syndrome. I'm sure many of you are already dreading the holiday syndrome that inevitably comes during this time. Here's something that might help you feel a little better. Wouldn't the holidays be so much better if we were all more considerate? For those of you who are suffering from too much work, here's how to beat holiday syndrome. After 3 days of non-stop cooking and dishwashing, it's your back, neck, and shoulders that have suffered the most. So here's how to relax those stiff, sore muscles. MJ, Young, and JJ, you should join in too. Beat the holiday syndrome with these easy stretches. So hope all of you have enjoyed the videos that I prepared here with me, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your holidays. Back to you.
Thank you, Sungyeon, and Happy New Year. Now, we've been talking a lot about Seollal traditions through the holidays, and I think there's a part of our traditional culture that we haven't really touched upon. A crucial part, and that's our master artisans.
That's right, and it's all really thanks to them that we can still experience the traditional ways of doing things to this day. And our Seo Misorang met with some of them for this special report. Good morning, Misorang.
Good morning. I met two master artisans, one for medip, traditional Korean knot making, and another one for shoe making. And the shoemaker especially, he's designated as one of the intangible cultural assets of Korea by the Cultural Heritage Administration, so meeting him was a huge honor.
It's a long-standing tradition to wear hanbok for Seollal, the Lunar New Year, and today we're looking into the accessories worn with hanbok, ggotshin, traditional shoes, and norigae, ornamental pendants worn by women. To this day, fine quality norigaes are handmade by master medip or traditional knotting artisans.
Making medip takes numerous steps. Right now, I'm doing the very first step, pulling the dyed fibrous yarn into single strands.
Once that's complete, it's time to intertwine these single strands into a thick string.
This is called the 8-strand technique because we're using 8 bobbins of 4 single strands. It's important to maintain a steady tension in each strand so that the thick string is even and uniform.
If we have a look, this is a norigae. So it consists of 2 parts, the tassel and the knot. And what we're doing is we're combining the thin threads into a thick thread, and each of that thread we use to make a knot. So one of this is this, made from 8 bobbins in this case, each with 4 of the single strands.
Now to make the tassel, twist strands in pairs until they're all the same length.
She's twisting the single strands so that it's shortened to a certain length, and then she's going to thread it through a needle, and she's going to make sure that every single strand is at the same length. And that's how you can tell whether something has excellent craftsmanship or whether it's...
To make one norigae, you have to keep doing these steps for around 10 hours a day for 10 days. So it's really a war against you and the string. This knot-making medip craft is not only used for norigae, but also to adorn pouches and traditional instruments. Now, aside from norigae, shoes also played an important part in dressing up or completing a full traditional Korean attire. There are different designs of these shoes called hwahae, depending on the occasion and social status of the wearer. Hwanghaebong is a 5th-generation traditional shoemaker, or hwahaejang, and Korea's only living important intangible cultural property in traditional shoemaking.
This one has shipjang seng, or the 10 symbols of longevity embroidered into the shoe. This one has peonies embroidered, which symbolizes wealth and prosperity. Our ancestors would use different embroidery symbols to represent their wishes.
Shoes that came up to the ankle were called hwa, while low-rise shoes were called hye, and together they were called hwahae. But because they looked beautiful like flowers, they're also commonly known as ggotshin, literally meaning flower shoes. Ggotshin are made by laying silk over a cotton cloth base, and for that, we need some rice.
이거 밥알을 으깨서 만든 것 같은데.
우리 밥 먹는 밥 알을
네.
이렇게 으깨가지고서 이렇게 그 아주 곱게 풀처럼 이렇게 만드는 거죠, 이렇게요.
A wooden hammer is used to spread the rice out evenly, and once that's done, the shinul, or the upper shoe, is complete. Then it's time to cut the leather soles. Accuracy and detail during this step is paramount to ensuring a snug fit. Now the upper shoe and soles are sewn together using a special needle.
This is a boar bristle. Conventional needles can leave a mark on the delicate fabric, but a boar bristle is flexible, so we will thread it like a needle.
Once the basic shoe shape is made, wood molds are used to finalize its form.
근데 되게 신기한 게 이것도 그렇고 여기들도 그렇고 좌우가 따로 없는 것 같아요.
이 전동 신발을 처음 제작할 적에는 이렇게 오른쪽 왼쪽이 구분이 안 돼요. 근데 신게 될 경우에는 몇 번을 신게 되면은 이제 그 발집에 나기 때문에 이제 그 주인에 따라서 그러면 신발의 모양이 이게 좀 변하게 되지. 신발이 자연스럽게 이제 편하게 되지.
네.
이걸 한번 신어봐.
감사합니다.
From start to finish, it takes a total of 72 steps to make a pair of these hwahae shoes, the master artisan's touch going into each painstaking step. Hwang Hae-bong grew up watching his father make hwahae shoes and naturally followed in his footsteps to grow up and become a skilled fifth-generation master craftsman of traditional shoes. And now his eldest son is learning the trade as well.
I chose this path because I realized the value of this tradition that my father worked so hard to preserve. I think my role is to keep this tradition alive, but also to take the younger generation's taste into account.
It's thanks to these master artisans that the beauty of Korean attire is kept alive to this day.
You know, like any modern day accessories, these norigae and ggotshin can really dress up your look, and it complements the beauty of hanbok.
Definitely, and I've brought some. These are the ones that are made by the master artisans themselves, so very precious. I've got, first let's begin with the norigae. This one, it's called 낙지발 norigae, or octopus norigae, because all the feet, they look like the webs or the arms of an octopus.
Only it's missing one.
Yeah.
8, but...
And this one, it's a butterfly one. This one not only looks beautiful, but it smells great as well. This is a perfume pouch.
Aha.
Wow. So smell that one.
It's an air freshener. Perfect for your car, but maybe a bit expensive, right?
Wow, interesting, huh? And those shoes, you know, you could be wearing them around with your regular clothes almost because they're so beautiful.
Yeah, so for girls or for ladies, we have the ones with the flowers. And as you saw in the video, this one has the 10 symbols of longevity. We've got white crane, deer, ocean, turtle, and so on. This one, peonies. Symbolizes wealth and prosperity. For men, like young, this one, it's not, whereas these ones are made by silk, this one has a leather upper, so it's more durable, and it used to be worn by noblemen.
You know, when people do wear their hanboks around the Lunar New Year's holidays and also Chuseok, a lot of them, they just wear dress shoes along with it.
Right.
You know,
and
it doesn't,
it
does not complete the ensemble. You want to complete that ensemble, to complete that look with the shoes.
Yes, and that's the way to go. And now we've got pockets as well. It shows you that these knots, they're not only used for norigae, but to decorate other things, instruments, furniture, as well as pockets, because Korean attire, you know how we didn't have separate pockets. So these used to be attached and to carry bits and bobs around.
Wow. Perfect size for your cell phones these days.
Yeah, and a bit of cash, a bit of coins.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Warang, for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. And still ahead on Korea Today, we are going to be looking at a very special photo exhibition looking back at the year 2014. Photos capturing precious moments of 2014 are brought to light at the annual Korea Press Photo Exhibition. Around 250 prints are presented as a timeline of the past year, and our Yim Yoon-hee will bring us her report on that later on Korea Today.
Now, this year, Korea's Lunar New Year, or Seollal holiday, coincides with China's biggest holiday, the Spring Festival, and more than 120,000 Chinese tourists are expected to visit Korea to spend their time here.
That's right. And with the increasing number of foreign visitors in Korea, local taxis are introducing various new measures to improve their services. And to tell us more, our Choi Hyung-ju joins us in the studio. Good morning, Hyung-ju.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, you must have had an experience of being slightly anxious when taking their first taxi ride in a foreign country. And definitely it's an experience that almost everyone shares. So here in Korea, new measures are taking place to improve the service of the local cabs and also dispel the negative reputation of the local cabs here.
Very good. I pulled out an address written by Korean friends and said, this is where I'd like to go, and they took us right there.
I think I had to call my co-worker to translate to him where I live. So it took a long time. I live in Gwangju, so in Gwangju they speak less English.
Overall, it's pretty good, but one problem is that it's difficult to communicate with the drivers. That's a bit inconvenient.
These are some of the responses we got when asking international visitors taxi experience in Korea. Most of them were quite impressed by the easy smiles and kindness of drivers who helped them load and unload their luggage. However, one common problem was communication. Is it really difficult to communicate with drivers in English? At this international airport, the main gateway to Korea, many overseas visitors get their first experience in a local taxi. So we randomly chose a taxi and tried out an undercover experiment.
Hello, I'm going to Hong University.
Hong University, okay.
How long would it take?
Time?
Time.
1 hour.
1 hour.
Though the essence of the conversation came across, communication was not easy. After explaining our real intentions, we asked the driver how he prepares to serve international passengers, or whether he puts any special effort towards improving convenience for international customers.
I know that I have to provide basic English service when I get foreign customers, but my English is quite lacking. And it's not that easy for me to make time to study English. And even if I had spare time, I'd rather catch up on sleep. The reality is that I don't have much time for self-improvement.
There are over 100,000 taxis in Korea. It's not easy for all taxi drivers to learn English in order to cater to foreigners. For the convenience of visitors from abroad, international taxis are available with foreign language-speaking drivers in Seoul metropolitan area.
We launched international taxi in order to reduce complaints from foreign visitors regarding taxis charging riders unfairly or breaking regulations. In order to prevent overseas visitors from being ripped off by cab drivers, we have implemented a flat fare system from the airport to the city of Seoul.
At the initial stage, there were only about 4,000 reservations annually. But last year, the number increased to 38,000, and many international visitors are using the service today.
If you take an international taxi, there is nothing to worry about. When you take an ordinary taxi, you keep on thinking about the fare. But you don't have to worry when you take an international taxi because they have a set rate, even in traffic.
Those who want to be an international taxi driver have to go through a strict selection process. Applications are submitted for either the English, Japanese, or Chinese examination, exams which consist of essay writing and speaking. Applicants who pass the exam get an international taxi driver's license. It is the proficiency in foreign language that makes them proud to be selected.
我在那个韩国国际出租车开的时候，有点是因为我的乘客里面有个全世界各国的朋友。
인터내셔널 타크시だから韓国のもう観光するときにぼったくりタクシーがあるんだからずっと問題があるんです。
The three most common complaints by foreigners were about communication, overcharging, and quality of service. Incheon International Airport provides assistance of both ordinary cabs and international taxi services. The airport staffs provide a cab assistance service on behalf of overseas visitors after checking their destination and fare estimation. This prevents them from any unfair taxi fare pricing and other inconveniences.
We have taxi information desks at the airport. Our foreign language speaking staff help both local and international travelers using ordinary taxis. After checking their destination, we provide information on an estimated fare, including tolls.
In order to reduce such complaints, taxi drivers are striving to equip themselves with tourist information and better service.
I listen to English radio to improve my English. Whenever I have time, I recheck my English vocabulary list. Also, once a month, I take a class on good service run by the airport. Since there are many international visitors, I believe I should speak at least basic English, so I study on my own.
During this Chinese Spring Festival, about 126,000 Chinese visitors are expected to travel to Korea. Though not all of them will use cabs, a pleasant taxi ride can only enhance their experience of a memorable trip to Korea.
The international cabs are different types of cabs, and they have different rates as well, I believe. And I've accidentally hopped onto one, and only to be denied the services because I'm not a foreigner. You cannot get onto one, right?
Well,
How
on
do
the
you tell
taxi
the
itself,
difference?
it says international taxi, so you can tell whether it's international or ordinary cabs.
Okay, that was a little silly of
Right.
me, I suppose.
Well, they run between the airports, Gimpo and Incheon, and also the destination within Seoul, with a flat fare, which is about $50 for regardless of the distance. And if you make foreign visitors, if they make the reservation at the airport, they would provide it specifically with the drivers who can speak certain foreign languages, so there wouldn't be any communication problems.
So you talked about communication problems. So what are the services like in these international taxis apart from the communication? What other services do they provide to the foreign tourists?
There were quite notable ones. Some have even installed a massager on seats, so passengers can receive nice massage on the way to their destination. And also to provide more space and comfort, SUVs are being operated among the privately owned taxis approved by the government. So it's quite popular since it's operated with the same rate as the ordinary taxis.
You know, considering all these services provided just for these foreign tourists, I think the price is really reasonable.
Right. I think it's a little unfair that we don't get to enjoy Koreans. Can we lie and say we're Chinese?
I think both of you can pretend.
All right. Very interesting. Thank you so much, Hyungju.
Thank you. And still to come on Korea Today, just in time for the Seollal holiday, are Joey Mercadante and Jennifer Kim teamed up to explore the neighborhoods of Bukchon and Seopchon in Seoul. They got a good dose of traditional culture in these downtown areas where the past and present coexist, so you don't want to miss it.
Well, there is that saying, pictures speak 1,000 words. Last year, I took all the photographs of my children as well as my family, and then when we were looking through them, we had remembered all the times that we had shared together. And that's the way photographs are. It gives you something to cherish and something to remember at the same time. And there's a photo exhibition that shows all the events from the year 2014, and our Lee Myun-hee joins us to tell us about that. Good morning.
Good morning. Right, so pictures are so valuable. You know, my mother always took tons and tons of pictures, and at that time we got annoyed, but she said, "You'll thank me one day." And you know, I think that day has come. Well, the Korea Press Photographers Association has put on their annual photo exhibition. Take a look at 2014 in photos. As the Lunar New Year brings the start of a new chapter for many, it also closes the door to 2014. A year of trials and tribulations, and an unfathomable calamity that touched the millions of lives on the peninsula. 2014 also held once-in-a-lifetime reunions for families forcibly separated by the war. A reunion that for many will be the last. Snapshots of the most momentous events of 2014 were rounded up for the 51st annual Korea Press Photo Exhibition, revealing a truly unforgettable year.
2014 was plagued with major accidents, in particular the Seollal ferry accident. Korea was traumatized, so the Pope's visit came at a much-needed time, bringing healing to the nation. This exhibition highlights the Pope and his visit with a special section, but also included is an overview of the year and some of the keywords we saw each month.
After the disaster, the nation was left in shock. Tears still shed over many wounds. As a result, people found themselves often on the edge, or even in the middle of a disagreement. But with time and a strong will, the people pushed onward, so that the flower could bloom once again, and the hope of a nation can continue to glow. And the chance to share the experience is only possible due to those on the front line, those whose own tears, sweat, and hard work captured each moment. Photographers are always on the scene, no matter which scene it may be. They must endure the forces of nature and the forces of humanity, all with an air of neutrality, so that of the thousands of pictures that they take, they can share that one special frame with the public.
This is North Korea's fighter, Jang Eun-hee, and this blue glove belongs to China's Yu Qian. While taking the picture during the 2014 Asian Games, I thought for sure North Korea was going to lose. But in the end, the judge held up Jang Eun-hee's hand and declared her the winner. There's a saying in photography, no ceremonial gestures, and what that means is that as a photographer, you have to detach yourself from the scene and remain neutral in order to catch the exact moment. This picture proves just that.
2014 overflowed with moments that will live on in history. A picture may be worth 1,000 words, but it's also worth 1,000 memories, the memories of a country and of its people.
You know, when you're generally thinking about photographs and looking back at them, you're thinking that you'll see a lot of happy memories. But when we look at the year 2014, there were a lot of the big bad incidents that did occur.
Right, a lot of accidents, but you know, those are just as important as well. So this exhibition is held every year by the Korea Press Photographers Association. They actually have a website, so if you can't make it to the exhibition, you can go to the website and see not only this past year's, but years in the previous as well. And so lots of pictures there to see some big news events from way back in time.
Okay, tell us a little bit about the photographers. Who's behind the camera lens?
Right, so these photographers come from all over, from magazines, newspapers, from broadcasting systems. So you get a range of different types of photos because they really do cover a scope of different topics. But this exhibition goes on for just a few more days. So you want to catch it if you have, want to get out with your family this holiday season. You really want to go check out this photo exhibition because a lot to see, lots to talk about as well.
And it always is an experience, almost a humbling experience when you do look back at the year from day one until the last day of the year, right? All right, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Now, for the past 11 years, mykbo.net has provided the expat community with everything and anything related to the KBO. And behind mykbo.net is one man who runs all this community work. And of course, that one man is Dan Kurtz, and he's joining us here today on Korea Today. Welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Dan, first of all, mykbo.net, obviously, amongst the expat baseball fans, a renowned community. But tell us what this mykbo.net is and how you went about starting this 11 years ago.
Sure. mykbo.net is a website dedicated to the KBO and Korean baseball for people that are around the world and can't read or understand Korean. My Korean skills are not the greatest, but I am able to decipher enough to be able to get some news onto that site. And it started 11 years ago with friends just coming up to me and asking such basic question as, do you know when there's a game at Chamshil Stadium? Can you tell me what time, what team, who should I look for on the player? Who's the foreign player that plays for the Doosan Bears? Just like that. And with more people coming up and providing that information, they kept asking, and so I kept putting out the news for them.
Well, obviously, you had some interest in baseball yourself for you to kind of start this too, right?
Yes, I grew up a sports fan, grew up in Pennsylvania, a Phillies fan, great times a couple of years ago, not so great right now. But so just that love of sports and baseball translated over here to Korea when I came to work and also study abroad here.
Just like you said, I mean, mykbo.net has started 11 years ago, but from when you first started this mykbo.net community and from now, how much has the interest in KBO increased amongst the expat community?
I think it has increased a lot since I first got here. Before, you may have just had a few fans that said, hey, let's go to the stadium. It's cheap. We can bring in our own food and drinks. Let's go have a good time. Now you have a few more serious fans out there that have lived in Korea for a couple of years. They've seen some of the superstars that have gone abroad, like Roo Hyun-jin, Kang Jung-ho, and now that interest has been spreading amongst their friends, and they're bringing more people to the games.
Now, another thing that I realized was, family members of foreign players in the KBO, they tend to utilize mykbo.net as well to get updates on their family members, right? Is this true?
Yes, it is true. I've been fortunate to have family members, uncles, relatives of players use mykbo.net as a resource for them to spread that news to their other family members back that are located in the United States or the country that they're living in.
So, I mean, not only do you supply these family members with information, but one of the things that I also realized was the media back in the States, for example, now that there's this interest in KBO talents, a lot of these media in the States are kind of using information that you put up on mykbo.net to get information on these KBO players. Is this true?
It has happened in the past. I've been lucky enough to have some news up there when Roo Hyun-jin was going to the States. Not too many people in the States knew anything about him, so there were not too many English sites that were dedicated to the Korean Baseball League. So one of my sites popped up, I think, when they hit Google, and lucky enough, they've been coming back to my site for some news.
So they ask you a lot of questions on, are you kind of the scout, the unofficial scout for the KBO right now?
I'd say more unofficial fan marketer for the league. Don't like to put myself as a scout, but I will definitely say that I'm a fan of the league and try to promote it as much as possible because I think it's a great league and a great atmosphere for fans to get out to.
We talked about how the U.S. media have right now, they've been using mykbo.net as well to get information on the KBO talent. You've been following the KBO for quite a bit. You've seen a lot of these players play. We just recently saw Kang Jung-ho sign with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Who's the next big name, in your opinion, your expert take on who the next big name is going to be heading over to the majors then?
Well, I think it might be his teammate, Park Byung-ho,
right.
Because when you hit 50-plus home runs, no matter where you're located, you're going to get looks by some scouts.
Even as a first baseman?
We might. Well, I saw that he was also taking some grounders there at third, so we'll see where he's going to play this year. But I think if he can supply that power, the major league teams will somehow find a way to get him into their lineup.
Well, Dan, once again, mykbo.net has been giving the expat community quite a bit for the KBO fans out there. Best of luck to you in your future endeavors, and hopefully the site gets bigger and bigger.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
All right, once again, that was Dan Kurtz, the head of the mykbo.net community for baseball fans within the expat community here on Korea Today.
The actual Seollal holiday may be over, but we've still got several days left on our Seollal holidays. So where can you go, especially if you're a visitor here from abroad?
Well, because it is a traditional holiday, I think that a little culture would be nice. Luckily, even though this is a major holiday here in Korea, not all places shut down, and our Joey and Jennifer duo scouted out some places beforehand to introduce to us. Good morning
to both of you.
Good morning. Yes, you mentioned culture spots, and I think the places we checked out definitely have culture. We checked out Bukchon, Sochon, and the Jongno area.
And you'll be seeing how they blended the new into these old locations in a minute. Bukchon and Sochon are really, really hot tourist magnets with a lot to see and a lot to do. And Joey and I had a lot of fun, so why don't we have a look?
All right.
In the middle of Seoul, the capital of Korea, is the elegant 600-year-old Gyeongbokgung Palace.
And on the other side of the royal palace are two areas receiving the spotlight, Bukchon and Seocheon, both in downtown Seoul, both boasting a place where the past and the present coexist. We decided to explore Bukchon first.
Whoa, Joey, it's so amazing and traditional, but still so modern.
Yeah, I really like it too.
And there's so many foreigners and tourists looking around. I can really see how this is a major tourist destination in Seoul.
Definitely. What I really like is if you look behind us, you've got the super modern fused here with the very traditional. Bukchon was a residential area built during the Joseon dynasty for the upper classes. It's a place where traditional culture is very much alive, as you can easily see. And a major example of this are the Hanok traditional houses. Our Bukchon adventure started with a special craft. Hi. Hey, nice to meet you. What are you guys doing?
We are making dolls, traditional Korean dolls.
This is a workshop for dakjongi, or duck paper crafts. Dakjongi is a traditional Korean paper made from the inner bark of the mulberry tree.
When you use glue on the dakjongi, you will notice that the dak paper is quite pliable and very easy to work with.
We began crafting together a bit of duck paper art. And we learned that these pieces each took a lot of layers of glue, duck paper, and patience. Having too much fun?
As I rip my own, and you can make your own flowers and put it together in your own pattern, I guess, however you want to make it. It's just very nice, and it's kind of relaxing. I think it's very calming to be able to do something like this.
Oh, really?
Cool, we've got some really special things planned today, right? What are we doing?
Food, photography, all sorts of things.
How does that sound?
Yeah, good, definitely.
With our newfound group of friends, we were going to start our official Bukchon and Seocheon tour on a very cool mode of transportation. Check out these pedicabs.
It's very different from going in like a bus tour or a taxi tour or something like that. It was really fun.
Here's a must-stop in the area, Seocheon's traditional Dongin Market. And it's right over here.
Yeah, apparently this place is really old.
Dongin Market has a 70-year-old history, and they sell old antique items as well as more modern wares. Now, it's most popular at lunchtime because of a very unique meal system that they have in place.
$10,000. 12,000원?
There's something really interesting about this market in that you don't have to pay with cash. You can actually exchange your money for traditional Korean money. Wow. And then we'll come back and exchange those coins for this delicious food and have a little doshirak platter. Okay, ladies. Okay, ladies, take one. Take one, and everybody's gonna eat, and then...
Oh, bye, Joey. Thank you.
I have to go get one more. Now, this meal system is very unique to Dongin Market. Basically, you buy coins made in the shape of old Korean currency, and you pay a coin per any food sold at any stall in the market, until this doshirak, or lunch platter, is full.
I have so much food, I don't know how I'm going to finish it.
We all fell in love with the doshirak system.
Is that sweet potato? I have no money. Oh, come here.
What's up?
I need your help.
Yeah, you need some... Hey.
Oh, what?
Okay, one for you.
Are you sure?
One for you, one for me.
Yes. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is life right here.
Oma.
It was crazy. Good crazy, not bad crazy. And there's so many different types of foods, and it's just everything that I wanted in one place.
It's kind of fun, right?
Oh yeah, totally fun.
For about $10 US, you get a platter full of generous helpings from the vendors. Then, down it all at the Doshirak Cafe area.
What do you guys think? How is it?
Very good. They're good.
So good, right?
Compare with the actual restaurant. They're cold. Just feels like real food.
This was made with love. Someone's grandmother was in the kitchen cooking this, made with love.
Right.
통일시장
재밌어요! And 맛있어요.
You know, we usually hear more about Bukchon than Seocheon, but these days Seocheon is really becoming the hotspot in Jongno-gu province, Jongno-gu district. So what did you guys enjoy the most, you guys and your friends, foreigner friends?
Well, I think our friends definitely enjoyed me the most because I was quite a funny, host that day.
Friends.
I was on my game that day. But in all seriousness, I think everyone enjoyed the Tongin market because of the delicious food and the unique experience that it offered.
Well, you hit the nail right on the head right there. The delicious food. Of course, eating is pretty much half of like any kind of a traveling experience. This is the food that you guys brought.
So this is the food that they were selling at the market. And this is actually one of the most popular dishes. It's called 기름 떡볶이.
Can we have a little bit
exactly
of the most
as the
popular
name
dish?
suggests.
It's very unique. It's very different from the regular tteokbokki that we're used to seeing because it just uses oil, I believe, right?
It's deep fried in oil or pan fried in oil before it is cooked again with the sauce. So it's really marinated and has a really savory aftertaste. It's really chewy, and this was one of the most popular hits.
And then we had like the chun and all that other stuff over
So
here
we've got
too.
the chun.
And if you like tteok, I think you'll definitely like the fried one because, I mean, fried food, it's my guilty pleasure, maybe yours as well. And the sauces just make it taste really great. And of course, as you mentioned, there's other great Seoul dishes available.
All right, sounds good. So this is the Tongin market, right?
Yeah.
And they have another food place that gets a lot of customers. We're talking about the Twishida Cafe.
That's in the Tongin market, I believe, right?
Yeah, so
Where you eat it.
I'll break that down for you. So you enter into the Tongin market, and then all you got to do is really just head upstairs for a little bit, and there's this cafe. Now, what you do there is you pay for the yeongeum.
The coins.
Yeopjeon, the yeopjeon, which are traditional Korean coins used back in the Joseon Dynasty and the Goryeo Dynasty. So you exchange Korean won for these old coins, and then you go back downstairs, go to the individual stalls, and pay with these coins. And you can also haggle. I got some free things thrown in there. Now, just a point about the market: it's open every day except for Sundays and the third Sunday of every month.
Do you like the oil tteokbokki? Because that's what U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry had when he visited Korea some time ago. There's a picture of him right in the middle of the alley, which is quite interesting. It really puts the place on the map, I think.
No, it's a real cultural experience. Like you have to be there at the market, and it's got to be hot with the steam in your face, and it's that really cultural experience that you need to have before you leave Korea if you ever visit.
And it's a good thing that you guys took a pedicab tour because Seocheon and Bukchon, they both have small alleys and sideways that it is really confusing to get around in.
It is kind of confusing. We were lucky. We got to take the pedicab, and we took one of the 3 courses in the Bukchon area. There's also courses in the Seocheon area and the Gwanghwa. It goes through Gwanghwa-mun as well. Now you have to make a reservation in advance to book these pedicabs. However, that being said, if you see one on the street without someone in it, you can flag it down, and all you've got to do is just pay the fee and maybe a little tip at the end. Yeah.
And it goes for roughly about an hour, but you can go for shorter time intervals as well. And the great thing about it is that you can actually go and speak English to them if you're a foreigner, because the cyclists themselves speak and communicate in English, and they give you a mini history lesson about the area. So there's so much to see. I think it's a really good way to actually feel the roads of Seoul.
It's like a tour guide with you, right? I can't stop, but no, I can't help noticing those pretty little shoes that you have. Are those yours?
Right?
Did you get them in your size?
Maybe a little bit smaller, but yeah, these ones are the ones that I made. This is actually traditional Korean cultural art, and it's called dakjongi, and it's a special kind of rice paper. It's a very traditional Korean way of paper macheing, basically. Did you enjoy doing this?
I had a lot of fun doing it. I like all of these sort of detailed, sort of designing challenges. So yeah.
And all these dolls.
Yeah, these are the Daktongi dolls.
adorable.
And what makes these special is the real life expression that you can see in the face, in the faces. So I really found those to be quite interesting and unique.
I love the sound.
Try them on. It's very much paper mache-y, so I think it's easy for anyone to do.
It was actually harder for the girls' ones, interestingly, than the guys' one.
That's true.
But if you really like this kind of arts, we really recommend you to check out the Bukchon arts workshop that we went to. And if this is something that really tickles your fancy, we recommend you to go to the Bukchon Traditional Crafts Experience Hall, which has a wide variety of different things.
Sounds great.
But this is only half of what you've done.
Not even half. That's right, not even half. They have more up their sleeves, right?
All right, so let's go check it out.
Let's have a look.
Our Bukchon tour led us to a small street in the neighborhood called Gyeonggil, where it was like we were transported through time to Seoul in the 1980s.
Oh, we made it.
A fun experience to try out has to do with this retro studio, where the interior and exterior was kept to look like it was frozen in time.
Wow, it doesn't seem very kept up well, but it adds to that old-fashioned flavor. Yeah, it gives it character.
Hardly any studios using film are around anymore because everyone uses digital cameras, easy to shoot, easy to delete. Here we take you back to the old days and use black and white film.
Because there's no background, subjects in the shot stand out. Their smiles pierce through the photo.
What a novelty that is really hard to come by nowadays. Of course, we had to try it out. Our little group struck a variety of poses for the photographer, Somba and Silly. We got an extra rare treat, a black and white Polaroid.
Whoa!
Oh my. I'm pretty sure these are one of the most unique photos he might have taken.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah,
Now these are great keepsakes of your tour here.
Pictures like this, you don't see so many mixed race, like sort of it's like the same ethnicity in the photo.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, that's really weird. It's a good combination.
We were walking down a narrow Bukchon alley when we heard music, and we followed the sounds until we reached what would be our next stop, a studio where you can learn about gugak, Korean traditional music, and try playing various traditional instruments.
안녕하세요.
네, 어서 오세요. 저희도 혹시 뭐 배울 수 있을까요?
네, 그럼요.
와, 재밌겠다. Let's go.
Jindo Arirang is a version of Korea's Arirang folk song that is inscribed as a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage of humanity. That's the song I'll be teaching you today.
Now, before we learnt how to play anything, our gugak teacher performed Jindo Arirang on the kayagum, a traditional zither-like string instrument. The music really felt like it was going through my soul.
It really touched my heart, and I could really understand what she was saying by it being really natural, organic sounds. Yeah, I think we were all equally as amazed.
아리랑 아다리가 낫네 아리랑 이런 식으로 굵게
아리랑
아다리가 낫네.
And our instrument today? The traditional drum changu.
Very sophisticated and it's very elegant, and when you hear it, it gives you this feeling of sense of pride. You understand why they're so proud of their music and why they really love their music so much, and just the rhythm of the drums with the beautiful melodic sounds of the kayagum. It's very, I like it.
During our brief lesson into the beautiful world of gugak, darkness had fallen and we were already at the last leg of our Bukchon Seochon tour. Our group headed towards a fusion restaurant in Seochon. It
was designed to look like a hanok, and the food was a blend of Korea meets the West. The reason that this restaurant is so popular among Koreans and the international crowd is because of the food. Brick oven pizza with sweet squash toppings.
Oh, that looks good, dog. Oh.
Seafood tteokbokki with cheese, and everything was so delicious.
It was really great being able to experience some new things. Even if you live in Korea for a long time, there's always lots of new things that you can find to do and discover. And so it's been a really great day, and I'm so thankful for everybody here that we got to spend it together.
Holidays with new friends, it was still a lot better than being alone. And as a foreigner, sometimes in Korea, I've spent holidays alone, so I'm really grateful for everybody here, and I had a great time.
I think that for any foreigners who want to first-hand experience and really live what it is to be Korean, this Bukchon area is completely filled with many diverse activities and experiences that you can have, so I completely recommend you to come and check this area out for yourself.
Wow, you've covered quite a lot of ground there and took a bunch of pictures as well. Very interesting, very impressive, isn't it?
Not just any pictures, I mean, these are quite unique, as you can see. And I really found them to be a lot of fun. I think we had a lot of fun taking them, right, Jennifer? And just the black and white quality and the sort of this antique feel to it just added so much more dimension to it that I thought it was just fantastic. And you know, to do these, you've got to make a reservation. Of course, you've got to call the studio and book it in advance because, as you can imagine, it's quite popular.
Chinju and Yang, shall we check it out
Yeah,
one day?
we should. I think so, right? And that was So posing for the camera had to be a lot of fun, right? Was it the whole experience, and was it better than the kugak experience? What do you think about that? I enjoyed the music aspect. Jennifer?
Joey really enjoyed it because he's a musician, but I also love music, so I found this a really cultural experience, and I learned a lot about traditional Korean instruments that I didn't know about before, like the changu, which is the traditional Korean drums. It's actually used for a wide variety of different genres of music. So there's nongak, which is the traditional music played by farmers. And then there's also minyo, which is traditional folk music. Not only that, but also Korean pop music these days also features these traditional instruments. Right.
And if you like this, all you've got to do is visit the Gugaksarang website to sign up. And they have teachers there that will teach you specific instruments, each specializing in one instrument. So really fun. I really enjoyed it. And I thought we were really good, and I'm still singing the Arirang songs at home, and I love it.
All night.
All right, sounds great. It is one of the roads less traveled, but is frequently traveled these days thanks to all the different sites that it does offer tourists there. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Our pleasure.
Thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Well, this is where we say goodbye on this Friday morning.
All right, it's Friday, but the holidays continue, so enjoy that. We'll see you back here on Monday morning at 7 a.m.
Have a great holiday. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.